Okay.
I gotta ask the board first. Oreos? Anyone? Oreos? Oreos?
Any scoops of ice cream?
No scoops of ice cream.
Yeah.
So, do you get it like you have two masters in the house, or you guys?
No.
So these fiber optic things that
Correct. They're just looking at whatever's necessary for organization to support them.
I can ask you that.
And then,
You know,
Just question.
yeah, hot
involved in something, you can come exactly what we're trying to find. Running things. It's just, it's a little unclear. I saved it from the first time, and but if he's supposed to
yeah, because that would be my only concern is
Picture me make that back to my gate back to. So frickin' slow.
potential. They take forever to update.
we're just,
Security issue. Sometimes
and I think that
Well, I think I'm suggest we let them for us, because we see the money, whatever they charge us for that.
rather than being strong on like Comcast or somebody else, this is a turned out with the
Pay those people.
budget sensitive.
Yes, it is.
I would have
We'll
one.
get there someday.
Don't let me go back there.
We'll get there.
That's one.
Hey, Deb, we got a quick question for you.
Down
I
120
meant to ask you earlier.
on the south
For
side,
Supervisor.
on the north side,
I'd have to look at the
between
details,
Ringwood
but,
and
Wonderful. But that's,
yeah, that was not what oh, we got a rebate, no, we got a rebate, federal rebate,
No.
federal government for
whatever
COVID.
you tell me.
Okay. Then how about the contingency for you on page 3?
Pardon me?
So that's what they want.
If you give me a second, I can
Me too.
probably.
I know. Contingencies.
Yes,
We always spent 45 of the 100 we got.
Yeah, 100%.
So I just wonder what you was reading on.
that was that, tax bill that we got from. There should be 2 sheets. Prior.
Okay, so it's like 30 grand or something?
that can be signed.
Like 40 grand.
It's like 40 grand.
Oh, so there's one back here too?
I think that was at your guys' first meeting or something.
What's your name, sir?
Oh, it's getting better every day.
I did bring. He said not here. You guys could take it.
What did I say?
Okay, so you have it. All right, perfect. I just grabbed it.
Standing right now, there's 3 or 4 things that I'm waiting for you to confirm.
Yeah, I'm sure the board will have plenty of questions on that.
It's 7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock, if everybody could stand up for the meeting to pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. With the absence of the supervisor, first order of business is to nominate. I make a motion to get Gary Barlow with this meeting. Could I do it first?
No.
I'll second.
I'll make the motion to, well, we already made the motion, now we have to roll call vote.
Who is second?
Neil.
Neil.
Mr. Shepherd.
Okay, it's all yours.
Well, we can then.
You gotta do your roll call.
You have to do a roll call.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All ayes? Motion passes.
Now
Congratulations.
you gotta do roll call.
It's a roll call vote?
Okay, roll call. Gary Bartlett,
Yes.
Here.
Mark
Oh,
Jagger,
sorry.
Here.
John McCredo. Here. And Neil Shepherd. Here. All present, except for Greg.
Okay. Okay. I guess you're going to get those. Thank you. We'll start off with public comments.
He is the first one, I think. He's first one.
We have Danielle Award first. Then Linda Collier. And then Mr. Beltran, you're after that.
Can you speak into the mic, please? I couldn't hear you.
I did.
You don't need to use the mic.
All right, Dan Elward, Mchenry, Illinois. There's something that's been on my heart and my prayer list for over 3 years now. And it's on the agenda tonight. It's the senior bus program. There's 3 trustees that, thank God, they're gone, tried to destroy the township piece by piece. The most cruel act that they could do is take away the bus program from these poor people. When they didn't succeed, the electors overrode them and got it back. So then they took and they were going to price them out of being able to ride the bus. The fee right now, it used to be $1, they raised it up to $2, right? Then they raised it to $5. We have one man in particular that's really heavy on my heart. He's a young autistic person. He works at the Richmond school. He was there 5 days a week. He spends $10 a day. That's $50 a week. And he refuses any donations or vouchers. He does that out of his own pocket. There are also disabled. We have 5 disabled people that need this program, and they can't afford $5 a ride. There's 4 people that go through dialysis. I had a problem health-wise a few months ago. My potassium levels skyrocketed, and there was a chance that I may have to go through dialysis. When he told me that, I almost wished that I did, so I could understand what these poor people have to sit through for 3 hours. On top of that, paying $10 to go there and get back. These people don't have, just to go to dialysis, which they have no choice, they have to do it or die. They don't have an extra $120 a month. These people don't even have enough money for cell phones. So my faith is in the new trustees that they will lower this fee. I hope back to $1 donation. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
bit taller, Wonder Lake. And I just wanted to come up here and say thank you to our highway. You guys were amazing with that storm. You guys got the branches and the roads clear so fast. You didn't make me miss work or anything. Thank you.
Can I just add something to that? Don't thank me, thank the people that were out there. Although maybe this one time you could thank me. I was out there until midnight that night. I'm not sure how I got out there, but I actually was. But yeah, they do a great job. Thank you very much. I'll make sure they know.
Okay. Robert Beltran, Mchenry Township. I have 3 items to address tonight. The first is what they both said. As far as the buses and as far as the highway departments, the highway people, and everybody who works on that, all we can do is just thank you and look forward to restoring that bus service. The second item is regarding the currently vacant supervisor position. I'd like to sincerely thank Craig Adams for his years of dedication and service in the most challenging of circumstances, and we all know what those are. And hope that the board can find a replacement that does justice to his legacy. In the appointment process, I sincerely hope there will be no executive session interviews. I trust this board will keep the process transparent. In the preceding board appointment, the successful candidate, Mr. Ver, maintained that the law mandated that a replacement not only be from the same party, but the same wing of that party. While the latter part of that statement was sheer nonsense, in the ill-advised event that Mr. Ver applies for the supervisor position, it would be appropriate to remind him of his position on the matter. He's definitely not from the same wing. And the third item, partner organizations. The previous board removed from the website all references to township resource materials regarding services provided by partner organizations, such as senior services, fish program, and so on. I asked that those community information resources be restored to the township website to better serve our community. I also suggest adding a commitment to provide such website information to any renewed agreements we develop with those organizations, so that it's kind of locked in should we have another change in the board. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your comments. I appreciate it. And I guess we will move on at this point in time for, we need to change things around a little bit, or we're going to go ahead and move the item of the accepting of the township, the supervisor's resignation, and then we're going to go into executive session after that. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. So I will, to move those items, do I need a roll call, or I can do just a voice vote? Voice vote. Okay. All those in favor of moving the acceptance of Craig's letter of resignation up to the top, and then also going into executive session after that? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Motion passes.
It was John first, you second.
Yeah. So I guess I'll say it is a sad day to see Craig go. Having had the opportunity to work under him, and in my previous tenure, which was relatively short, but I was able to learn a lot about it. So, you know, at this time, I guess I'll take a motion from the floor, or from the trustees, to accept his letter of resignation.
Sadly, but yes, I'll accept it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Motion from John, Mr. McCready,
Yes.
and a second from Mr. Neil Shepard. And we need a voice vote or a roll call?
Voice. Let's do a voice vote.
Okay. All those in favor of accepting Mr. Craig Adams' letter of resignation?
Aye.
Everybody voted aye. Okay, so the second thing is, need a motion to go into executive session?
I guess I'll make the motion to go executive session.
Second. Okay, all those in favor of going into executive session?
Why?
For purposes of clarification, is it regarding this position?
Yes, it's regarding the supervisor's position. Yes.
Then it would be pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2, exception C, and that would be number 3, regarding the selection of a person to fill a public office.
Correct.
Yes.
They're not reviewing the executive session minutes not released?
We're gonna do that as well.
Okay.
In the same meet, or a different one?
Well, I think we should all the same meeting, no doubt.
John, Neil. Okay. If that's the case, then it would be number 3, and I believe it would be number 21. Number 21 regarding review of minutes of closed session.
What is that called?
The exceptions to the act would be 5 ILCS 120/2C, and there's going to be 2 exceptions. 3.
You're too fast. Just
I'm sorry.
tell me.
Okay, and just 3 and 21. I'll give you the rest of the statute.
So we need to take another motion in a second.
Yes.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, I'll second. All those in favor of the motion on the table?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes.
Time is 7:13. That's all right. Why is that? So you can eat it? Hopefully it won't be too long. It's in there. Shortens my time. Yeah. How you doing, Bob?
What's up, Chief?
Well, the thing of it is, it has to be quoted in 25 words, and there's no way that's but, you know, text violation can be done, violation can be interviewed. I don't think, actually, I don't think there's what else?
I think they've already pre-reviewed them because
Well, it's because, everything is being used for the party, so I don't know if it's in the law or not.
that's what I brought up that first time in that meeting.
Yeah. Well, it's in the
And they had one every.
yeah, and I've heard, well, I don't know if it's in the law.
Super excited to see what the hell's in there.
I'm hoping our lawyer knows.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
My plan was to do the spiel from the Q&A, talking points.
I didn't look at the board packet before the meeting, but Debbie said that the letters were in there, so we didn't see what she said. I know that it was off for a while for medical, and it's just, it hasn't gotten any better, so it's in the best interest of the township to leave, let them fill the vacancy.
Okay, that's what I talked so much versus election.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, I mean, there's a couple different ways they can do it. I mean, it should be put out there in applications and open interviews. And that's kind of what they started on last time, was there was the trustee that was open. Then that's when they went to the executive session and interviewed Steve and then appointed up. Yeah. No, it wasn't, thank goodness, but it's the same concept. They're all elected positions, everything like that, so.
Whoever he volunteered for.
But I don't know, I mean, do you know if it says it has to be at the same party that was elected?
I've never heard that people would be, I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I heard, but I didn't look it up.
It makes sense for the other position.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The last time I even know about it happening really was when Obama won, and then they appointed his replacement. But we had a Democratic governor, and everything like that. So that's why I just assumed that's why. It's like, oh, if we had been a Republican governor, it might not have been the same thing, you know.
It's not.
Yeah. But anyway, so I think that's.
I like the idea that there's one on here. I'll pop it in somewhere about.
You know, I have a bad case of CRS.
Yeah,
give me a date.
it's the county has to get involved with that, and they're. I'm not sure why.
County board.
Not the county board, I'm trying to remember what they talked about. They said that
Probably
somewhere it's listed that it's partisan or
It'd have to be in township.
yeah.
Somewhere, buried.
I thought somebody said that it would have to be the party in the county would have to agree to allow it to be nonpartisan.
I can understand both parties.
Caller, do you remember? Like about why we can't just make it nonpartisan? Why it has to go through something, right?
I'm not 100% sure that anything that we've been told about that is correct.
Oh.
I can't find anything anywhere in statute or law that says why it is the way it is and how to change it.
To me, it never made sense at township level, just like school boards. They're not partisan, so I don't know.
Right.
Some municipalities aren't that way either. So,
Okay,
for
so
example,
it's
the
not
city of
consistent.
Woodstock isn't partisan.
Okay.
Like, everybody doesn't run on a partisan level whatsoever. They're not supposed
So it's
to
not,
label
it's
themselves.
not even consistent within the county.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even consistent with it, between municipality to municipality, from township to township.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, personally, I wish everything was nonpartisan. You just vote for the person that was best for the position.
Nonpartisan, ranked choice voting.
That's right. It'll help get money out of it too. You know, you wouldn't have to say this or that. You know, to make everyone happy to get money from them. You could just run on who you are.
I like the idea of temporary coalitions.
Mm-hmm.
All these people are running under this. This is their main, thing, objective that they want to do.
Have you been
Wasn't
Dory?
there a point in time in our history that we had president, vice president, different parties?
Yeah,
Yes,
because it was
that was
whoever
the-
ran second was the vice president. There was no separate
Is that how it
election.
worked?
Yep. That's
So they didn't run together?
Well, no, how did it work? They ran. Did they run like they had a person they ran with?
No,
But-
it was, two parties, two people. Winner gets president, loser gets vice.
Okay.
We're really trying to make sure.
So they could be different parties?
That's what happened with
They
What
were.
is it?
that's what happened with John Adams, right? 'Cause-
Everybody has a
wait,
problem no matter where they're at.
It seems like sometime.
there was somebody.
I have a problem with neighbors.
I mean, this is gonna sound really bad, but based on my going to the Hamilton.
Well, there's a good point of reference.
I believe that Thomas Jefferson was somebody's vice president, and they were on opposing parties.
Yeah.
That's back when the runner-up in the presidential election became vice president.
That's what we're talking
Didn't
about.
run.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm on two different. I'm inquiring about a house that's got some history that is in Mchenry
And
Township.
also, he thinks it's safe.
May have been an underground railroad, and it's been empty. So I'm like trying to figure out where this house is.
Yeah, he leans over, goes, read it with the lottery, like, duh.
What's your point?
Yeah. Add it to the list.
Hey, I had a phone call about published in Clearinghouse. I won. Oh, congratulations! Until the guy says, "So you gotta go to Walgreens." I go, "Why do I have to go to Walgreens?" Well, first of all, the first thing is he didn't know how far Chicago is. Mchenry is from Chicago, and they know. Number two was, when he said I had to go to Walgreens, I said, "Why do I gotta go to Walgreens for?" "Oh, you have to get a claim form, or claim card." I'm going, oh, $1,000.
Going out.
I know you don't have to spend $1,000.
No, it's a bear.
My dad called me one time and he's like, Jamie, I got this email that my Apple account's been hacked. What do I have to do or whatever? They shut it down. And I'm like, Dad, you don't have an Apple phone. He's like, well, do I have an Apple account? I go, probably not. Well, at least he calls and asks, right?
Well, I got an Apple phone. I got that
I don't have one anytime.
Well, I came in one time and said,
They're looking around for trees and producing
"I'm being
something
sued
with
by the government."
Somebody to load them out. One delay.
Yes.
Then
Oh, you were
they headed to Johnsburg and I was stepping up to Wonder Woods.
Craig's fault?
Dusty's out there.
There
There's a tree down there. There's a pulling away with the
Who's
loader that
girls
made it
cleaning off the
super simple.
gutters, but he
So,
fell off and he
They
broke.
took care of 4 trees while we took care of 1 tree.
Oh my God.
He hurt himself. He like when he broke a bunch of stuff and it punctured an organ or something like that. He was like, we almost lost him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
heard.
really terrible.
Yeah.
And then he had all
Yeah,
kinds
they're
of
telling me 3 o'clock
braces and
tomorrow.
things he had to wear for a while. I lost a ton of weight.
Yeah.
Then he had to have those three.
You got a generator?
Yeah. Well, right to him.
Those idiots.
Oh, yeah.
And then they took away his healthcare. Johnny's in healthcare for this. And I don't know if it's common knowledge or stop me if I'm not supposed to tell anyone because I don't remember.
Well, you're on a microphone.
It's really going to work out. I was amazed. I pulled the thing once.
Just remember that we're on microphone right now.
So
Yeah.
How could they?
it's noisy.
Because they're idiots. They were trying to destroy the township.
Can you not run the air conditioner? Can't run the AC.
It's part of the compensation for the elected officials, and that's how they got it. So they took away health benefits for the elected officials. They tried to like look into it, and it's like, well, because everyone else has insurance, and they're employees of the township, they're like, well, nobody can assess elected officials and their compensation. So I don't know if that's gonna go or not gonna go. But I mean, that was a big thing, you know. And the reason they did is they want to destroy the township. So the way to do that is to suck all the money out and then make it so that nobody wants the job. Because like what happened, it falls apart and everything else. And so that like they had like I wouldn't say a well thought out plan, as much as it was just like they had a goal. You know, whatever they could think of to get to that goal, and that was one of them. I mean, they cut all the salaries in half and took away the health benefits.
We're going to go around the whole township starting Monday.
Unbelievable. It was ghastly. It was just one thing after another, and they were dropping. They spent more money on legal fees.
Pick them up.
And in a 9-month period, we did all the
grinder.
simple
And it's just so efficient.
Then the
Her guys standing there trying to pull branches and
had
stuff.
spent in like 6
Throw
years.
them in the
And
back
that
of the
just
truck.
continued, it got even worse.
You know, the little stuff that guys should just chip
Yeah,
around.
it's like they felt like we
Took them back to the truck.
they just kind
Load
of,
them, take them to nothing.
they went even
grab a little
crazier.
mulch to
They
bring
did that
back,
stupid
sit in his face with
study about, you know, getting rid of stuff like that, and we're all like, and they just went with this, the worst person, the only one that would do the study, you know.
Oh, yeah, it's all grinder will take it.
All they were doing was,
It's amazing what they do.
It wasn't on time.
they paid.
I understand it. Paid. I don't know why they.
I was wondering the same thing.
Because it sucked money out of the town. It's ridiculous. They say it's a waste of money, but then they waste the money. And it's like, and now they're out, and now their taxes are going to go up because they're going to have to raise township money. I don't know, but
Does he really? Yes, he's going to be making us a I
Well, so first of all, we all know that not only does that, but he writes letters and puts other people's names on it. We all know that.
I didn't know you could have executive session that short. Come on, Robert,
And
we're
other
efficient.
people posted because he's up there. Yeah, I really should be on the microphone.
So do you reopen it or do I?
You do. Yeah, you do.
Okay, I'd like to reopen the August 12th, 7 p.m. Mchenry Township meeting
It's 7:26.
at 7:26 p.m.
15 minutes. Good job, guys.
Could you take the one more time since
Sure. Gary? Roll call?
Here.
Neil?
Here.
Mark?
Yeah, here.
John? Here. All present. Gary, I'd like to make a motion to readjust the agenda again.
Okay, what is it?
Under HB, I would like to move up to the next point of discussion here.
Okay. So I've got a motion to move the discussion of the appointment of Township Supervisor, Deputy Supervisor to the next item on the agenda.
I'll second the motion.
So I have a first from Mr. Mccenry and a second from Mr. Shepler. Is that a roll call or a voice vote?
You can do a voice vote.
Okay. All those in favor of moving item HB to the next item to work with? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, you got it. Motion carries.
Gary, the only thing that you need a voice vote on. We can talk about something.
Oh,
That's what you did, you just moved it to the top.
okay, so, discussion on the item HB.
As you all know, we just came back out of executive session. We discussed, I don't think we need to get too lengthy of a conversation, making Gary Barlow the next supervisor. Appointing Gary Barlow as the next supervisor. Any more discussion?
I think we're all in agreement. Gary is very well respected in these parts. He's, I think, will be a good leader. Obviously, we're going to miss Craig, but I think Craig carried it. He can step into his shoes and move us forward.
Couldn't agree anymore.
Pardon me?
I said I couldn't agree anymore.
Any more discussion? No?
Make a motion to appoint Gary Barlow as supervisor.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to appoint myself. That sounds terrible, I apologize. To appoint trustee Gary Barlow to the township supervisor position. We'll do a roll call vote on that. Mr. Shepler?
Aye.
Mr. Yeager?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes,
Credo?
Mr. Credo.
And, of course, yes for me.
Motion carries.
All yours, Gary. Thank you. We'll move on. We'll go back to the regular agenda here. So we finished with public comment. There is one other thing that we needed to do from the executive session that I need a motion to move from old business. I guess that's I, letter C, the review and release of executive meeting minutes. I'd like to move that to the next item on the agenda. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Motion. Mr. Geiger?
Second.
Mr. Shepler? All those in favor of moving the review and release of executive meeting minutes to the next item? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Having no opposition, That passes. What's the correct terminology?
Motion carries.
Motion carries, excuse me. So I'll make a motion to, well, yes, you guys have to. Sorry.
In the executive session, we had discussed releasing all the executive session meetings for the past 3 years, I believe it was. We decided to go ahead and release them. So I'll make a motion to release all the old minutes, executive meeting minutes.
I'll second that motion. Okay, I have a first and a second to release all the executive meeting minutes. So that's a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Having none, those will be released. Motion carries. Okay.
Can I just take care of one little housekeeping?
Yes.
What I'd like to do is also have the clerk swear you in now as, it doesn't have to be, unless you have, you have already an oath of office as the township supervisor now. It's something very similar to what you did as a trustee, but then also I will prepare a office of warrant so that there's no question that it's signed by the trustees that you are the township supervisor. So if you can, clerk, if you want to swear in Mr. Barlow as the supervisor.
Don't I speak loud enough?
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your whole name.
I, Gary Barlow,
Have been appointed to the office of supervisor
have been appointed to the office of supervisor
in the township of Mchenry,
in the township of Mchenry,
in the county of McHenry.
in the county of McHenry.
Do solemnly swear to affirm and I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Okay.
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
To affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois
To the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability
Of the office of supervisor.
to the office of supervisor.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, okay, so all that's done. Let's move on.
Good luck, Gary.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Let's move on to do work for our constituents rather than this up here. So, again, back to the agenda this evening. So we have the approval of minutes from the regular township board meeting June 10th. If you want to do them all together, I think we can, unless there's any objections, but I would not be opposed to a single motion for items C, A, B, C, and D on the agenda.
I read them all. They're, in my opinion, they're all great. You did a good job of writing up the minutes.
Okay. So I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve all of the board meeting minutes, A, B, C, and D from June 10th, June 24th. We had 2 meeting minutes and July 8th.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. We'll take a voice vote on that. All those in favor of approval of all the meeting minutes listed on the agenda this evening?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Motion for the receipts and bills for the town fund. Mr. Sheffield.
That town fund, total reimbursements to be approved, $48.63.
Can you use the mic, Neil? Thank you.
Sure. Total bills to be approved, $13,381.97. Total bills paid prior to audit, $50,365.83. The total to be approved this evening, $63,796.43. Total receipts were $18,064.15. I make a motion we accept the receipts and pay the bills for the town fund.
I'll second the motion.
So we have the A motion and a second for the paying of the township fund bills. That'll be a roll call. Mr. Shepherd? Aye. Mr. Yeager? Yes. Mr. Mccabe?
Yes.
And Mr. Barley, yes. Motion carries. Item E, motion for approval of receipts and bills for the general road and bridge fund. Okay.
We, the undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees, certified that we have this 12th day of August 2021 examined and audited amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached and hereby authorized payments of the same. Total reimbursements to be approved, 0. Total bills to be approved, $86,306.91. Total bills paid prior to audit, $26,402.50. Totals to be approved, $112,709.41. Total receipts, $29,753.77. I make the motion to approve the general road bridge.
We have a motion for, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of paying the general road and bridge fund? That's right. Did so well on the first one, screwed up the second one.
There you go.
A little bit of roll. Okay, Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Yeager?
Yes.
And-
Yes.
Okay, and I'm a yes. Okay, motion for approval of receipts and bills from the permanent hard road fund.
We, the undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have this 12th day of August 2021 examined and audited the amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached and hereby authorize payment of the same. Total reimbursements to be approved, 0. Total bills to be approved, $513,036.18. Total bills paid prior to audit, $23,792.63. Total to be approved, $536,828.81. Total receipts, $10,669.31.
Do you have a motion?
I have a motion to approve.
Do we have a second for that, to pay the permit hard road?
I'll second.
Okay, we'll take a roll call. Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Yeager?
Yes.
Mr. Mccabe?
Yes.
Mr. Barlow is yes. The next item on the agenda is a fund transfer. There isn't one, so we can move on. Under new business, so we've handled A, we have handled B, so we're down to C. Discussion to discuss the amount to be charged for the Mchenry bus program. Discussion and possible action. Anybody have any recommendations on the bus program?
Motion first before discussion.
We got that motion. Okay, I need a motion for discussion on the Mchenry Senior Bus Program.
Make a motion.
Rate discussion. Okay, Mr. Yeager's first. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. McCready has seconded. All those in favor of discussing the senior bus program rates?
You just need to open it up for discussion. You don't have to do a vote.
Okay. Follow the line. Okay. So discussion, I guess.
Well, I mean, I have to tell you, Dan's speech did move me because Debbie knows how I stood on this much earlier. Because I did a little research, and the county is charged up to $797 for a round trip. It's actually one way, but I don't have a problem reducing it way below that. But if you guys decide, I probably will agree with it.
I know I have a number of people in my subdivision that use the senior bus program as well and have a hardship. They have no other recourse, and income is a problem. So I would like that we would go back to what we used to, $1 or a donation.
We talked the $2, $1.50.
Originally it was $1.
I'm just asking a question.
That's up for discussion.
What was your question?
down to $1.50, $1, $2? That's my question.
Currently $5.
Correct.
Okay.
We're definitely going to.
And it was previously at $1, and you're saying raise it a small amount to either $1 or $1.50.
Correct.
So I guess I got one question. Is what are your guys' feelings? Are there a lot of people not using the bus because the rate is at $5?
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
Okay, so there's a
significant amount, yes.
a lot of folks. Okay.
Right.
We can't afford
And
it.
it's hard to judge right now with the COVID too, so.
And we're back to,
We are not back to full. You can't put more than 2 people on a bus at a time.
okay.
There's still a restriction in place.
And we currently only have 1 bus, if I'm not mistaken.
No, we
two?
have 3.
3?
3. We have 2 only running right now because of the COVID.
But the numbers are way down.
Yes, our numbers are way down. Right. And
It's
I
not
would
'cause of
assume
cost, right?
if the rate was to go down, those numbers will go up. I don't know that they'll go back up to what they were, but they will definitely go up because we have people, have they reduced it yet? Have they reduced it yet? That's a constant question being asked.
The only thing I'd like to add is I know Craig did apply for a $20,000 grant. I believe Debbie's working on finishing the paperwork. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, at the last meeting, I mentioned that the letter of intent was accepted, and I am in the process of trying to finish that. I have incorporated some help in getting that done, so I hope to have that done by the end of next week.
And we have the
And
bus.
it looks like he applied for 20,000.
Okay. And just to double check, we have the bus funds covered in this budget that we're working on.
Correct. We do have the bus funds covered at this point.
Okay. So,
And we'll have another grant that we can apply for through Northeastern Illinois on Aging later on this year, but it'll be for next year's budget.
okay.
And that's the bigger grant.
So John has made a recommendation of $1, $1.50. Your feelings?
What's the bare minimum to charge?
Zero.
You could do 3 or 4.
If we get, all right, so if we get the grant from Northeastern Illinois on Aging, it was never set as a fair amount, it was a donation.
So we could say $1
Donation.
donation. So
Right.
if some senior or disabled is in bad shape, they can take it for free.
Correct.
That is what I recommend.
Correct. So, and you can set it however you want. If you want it to be a $2 donation,
I like
it's
a
just a
dollar.
suggested
You
donation.
can always donate above if they have
Right.
the means to do that.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It's just a suggested donation.
Yeah.
That's what it used to be when we were getting all the grant funding.
Do you have any more discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to make a $1 donation.
I second.
Mr. Yeager seconds that. And this is a voice vote?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of returning,
No,
has to be roll call because it deals with
Because there's
money.
money. Yes.
I will remember that. All those in favor of restoring the old $1 donation for the senior bus service, I'd call it a fare for lack of a better term at this moment. So I have a motion from
John, second by
and a
Mark.
second from Mark.
Yes.
All those, or excuse me, Mr. Shepler? Mr. Yeager?
Yes.
Yes.
And of course, I'll say yes. I'll get there eventually. Give me a little while.
Immediately.
Effective tomorrow?
Yes. Sure.
Okay, moving on. Let's go to new business item.
You don't want to do F?
I'm going to D right now.
Oh.
Those are new business. We're good. To rescind the resolution 21-1503, discussion and possible action.
In rescinding that, I think we should approve us writing a letter to the senator to tell them that we disagreed with the prior board.
Did you make a motion?
And to make out some discussion.
Can't have discussion.
Well, I would agree, absolutely. Yeah, we definitely need to communicate,
With Craig Wilcox.
yeah, with Senator Wilcox on that, absolutely. But just so everybody is aware, this dealt with 2 resolutions where it goes back to the electors wanted to restore the bus and then also restore the salaries and benefits that went with it. So we're just going to, by law, we can't restore the salaries until 180, it has to be done 180 days prior to the next election, if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
Okay, so we can't do that, but doing it tomorrow wouldn't benefit anything. It's not going to change for 3 years, 3.5 years. Then the second one was dealing with the we just dealt with it with the bus service. So I'll make a motion to rescind the resolution 21-1503. Do I have a motion?
Give me a second, further discussion if they may.
Sure.
That was the letter going to Craig Wilcox, correct?
Yes.
Well, we
Open up for discussion.
okay. Yes, it is.
Like I said previously, I'd like to send a letter out, telling them we don't agree with the prior board.
Correct. So
That's what it is, so we're voting.
just to be clear, included in the resolution was the letter to Senator Wilcox. So when we rescind it, we will send another letter to Senator Wilcox, telling him we were in disagreement with the previous board. Okay.
Can you tell us what the substance of the letter?
It will state, John, help me.
I'll get it right now. Whereas Mchenry Township is an Owen Township created pursuant to the Illinois Township Code. We're going to go down to...
Yeah.
So
essentially, Mr. Beltran, what the letter talked about was the township meeting, the number of people that were there, representing, there were 36 electors present, there were 48,000 electors in the township, so, and then there be it resolves where the above recitals are incorporated by reference, and it goes into, we talked about with us moving $50,000 at that meeting, and then also there are also restoring the salaries for that. So I guess at this point, I have a motion, correct?
Yeah, make a motion.
I need a second.
You have a second.
Okay, and then that will be just a voice vote because there's no money involved. All those in favor of rescinding 21-1503? Those in favor of that?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so that's done. On to E. To review the possibility of joining the McHenry County Fire Coalition. We've had a previous conversation with Mr. Towler, and I don't know if you have any, it says there's a presentation here this evening.
If you don't mind, I'm going to remove this for ease of speaking. I also have with me here the president of Internet Freedom for Mchenry County. I'd like to call him up as well in case you guys had any questions or anything else. I would like to add that we currently have 22 members to the coalition. The more members we get, the more representation we get throughout the county. This is your guys' opportunity to appoint somebody. It could be a member of the board, it could be a member of the community that wants to step up to speak on behalf of the citizens of the township and steer the direction of this coalition. We as a member of Internet Freedom, we don't want to be the ones in the driver's seat. We want to see the people driving this. It's very key that we, just a quick couple of points going back over why fiber is important. Especially with the pandemic, we've seen how much schools have spent on getting students access to internet through Wi-Fi, through cellular hotspots. We've seen that we've got to look up at the Motorola plant there where they're talking about putting in a data center. Stuff like that could really impact the people here in this county, bring jobs in. Data center jobs are good jobs, good paying jobs, as well as it increases your house value and a national average by about as much as a half bath, having fiber to your house. The township is important because the townships have road districts, and road districts can help us by having dig once policies in place. So committing to those ideas where next time you're working on a road, you lay down a channel that we can run fiber through and things like that. Those types of things are very important to us, and that's where the township really comes in, as well as representing the people. If you have any questions, we'd be glad to answer any.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, you're looking for somebody to lead this.
No, we're looking. If you want to be on the if you want somebody to be on the steering committee, we've got spots.
Okay, so that's not a requirement.
Right.
What you're asking the township to do is support the people's ownership of a fiber network.
Sorry. So we don't know yet. That decision has been made. So we're trying to put together essentially a task force, a group, a community group of schools, of townships and villages and nonprofits to come together and basically say, hey, do we even have a problem with our internet access? Do we even have a problem? Is dial-up acceptable? Is fixed wireless acceptable? There's a lot of different questions you can go back and forth on that. But before you can do anything, you have to even acknowledge that a problem even exists. And so that's pretty much where we're starting, is being like, hey, we got a problem here and we want to do something about it, right? And we want to at least talk about it, at least bring feedback from the community as to if there is even an issue to begin with, And so that's where we're starting. And where the group decides to go is really up to the people that are there. And so, the primary driver of this, of course, is Internet Freedom from Mchenry County, but it's also Mchenry County Economic Development Corporation. They're a big partner of ours. And so their partners, their people that they represent have acknowledged that there is a lack of fiber optic infrastructure. And so that's their big driver. That's what they want to do, is they want to make sure that the business environment here in the county remains to be competitive compared to our other neighbors, because our neighbors throughout the country, even in our immediate area, are making the investment. They are making that investment, and they are making that happen. And so we really don't want to be left behind. And so we got this really great opportunity from the state. One of our members actually is Craig Wilcox. He's actually a member of this coalition. He's a big supporter of this, and making sure that our area remains competitive for the future.
Basically, we're looking for you guys to add your voice and steer this committee as well, be it either on the a member of the steering committee or just a member, but to make sure that this is coming from the community, not from the top down. We're not trying to push this out there to anybody. We want the community to say, yes, this is something we need, or no, this is something we don't need.
Is there any financial commitment that you're looking for from us?
There is none. We have a state grant that we're using to fund this. Internet Freedom got that state grant, and we're using that to fund this.
And you said that some of the neighboring communities, so Lake County, Kenosha County, Boone County?
So, like, for example, the city of Waukegan had applied for a grant, and they got it. They got that same grant. And so the last round, R1 in Rockford applied for it, or I think it was the county of Winnebago, they applied for the grant and they got it. And they went through the process and everything. So there are, communities, all, rural and non-rural, like, for example, Greater Peoria Economic Development Corporation applied for the grant, and they got it this round. So we're in good company with a lot of different people throughout the state on this.
I did go to the website. I did see a couple of things on there I didn't understand, so I'm going to ask you. It says page managers from the USA, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Can you explain that to me?
I'm sorry, I don't
I go to the website, your website, Internet Freedom for Mchenry County.
Right.
The page manager, it lists page managers from USA, Bangladesh, and Pakistan.
I'm a page manager. We
Yes.
don't have a, but so our
When I went to the website,
Right.
there's an area for page manager, and that's those 3 items are listed there.
yeah,
That's what I'm asking.
I'm not really sure what that is because we just appointed a new webmaster and he's out of Huntley. And otherwise, it's been pretty much me that's been maintaining the website. So I'm not really familiar.
Are you talking about because page manager sounds like Facebook.
No, this is the website. If you go to your website, under page manager, it's on the left-hand side, it lists USA, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, which I didn't quite understand.
I think it sounds like you're talking about Facebook and who are the page managers.
Right.
So when our secretary has taken a little bit of a leave, we hired somebody to help us with maintaining the Facebook and the other secretarial duties. Yeah. And so that particular individual is helping us manage our Facebook page and also helping us with the minutes and some of the other secretarial duties. So that's why, and you know, a lot of really Fortune 500 companies hire labor all over the world, and it's actually very common. You know, I mean, I work with people from all around the world. Like, for example, my boss is in Madrid, so.
It's basically, it's somebody that we've hired to
Yeah,
manage.
that's the question. I'm not trying to point fingers. But the other thing I had is, are you aware there's a Mchenry County Network Consortium?
Yes, actually. So that is a government cooperative that owns and operates publicly owned fiber that comes up from I-90 and goes up to MCC and MCC into Woodstock. There is currently plans by the McHenry County to expand that with COVID funds up to Harvard. If you guys have been familiar with that, then they actually released an RFP for engineering, and they got I can't remember the firm, but they hired a firm to basically put the engineering together and basically price it out as to what that would cost and sell.
And that fiber existing is really good for this county because we could expand, just like they're expanding up in Harvard, it could be expanded out to everyone from there.
I actually spoke with County Administrator Pete Austin, and he hinted that they might be running a fiber line out to Spring Grove, so that would go right through here to do that.
That brings me to my last point. You aware the county has developed a white paper to seek EDA funding to expand the fiber network. The county has already applied for that.
The county's been talking about this for a long time. They've been talking a lot.
Yeah.
So Austin's head of that group, right?
Yeah. So what we're trying to do by building this coalition is to move it from talking into doing.
Because at the end of the day, you always with any infrastructure, you have to think about where is the infrastructure going. So a lot with the county. So this is deep stuff, but. So basically, the fiber that the county has put in what is called middle mile. It bridges cities together and everything else, but it doesn't connect to business and residents. And that's always been a criticism of our organization, which is, hey, you spent millions of dollars to run this fiber, and it's been 6 years. Why haven't you hooked up any residents or businesses? And here we're on the infrastructure bill just got negotiated in Congress. And there are billions of dollars coming down to the state level for us to be able to apply for that. But the fact is, we're not ready to be able to apply for these grants because we don't know where the need is. I mean, nobody knows where it's at. I mean, and you have to have it house by house. You have to know exactly where that need is for you to put together the grants to do that. This coalition speeds that process up. At least that's our hope. Is that it speeds the process up so we are more competitive and able to apply for grants in the future and actually take advantage of this. Because the fact is that there has been numerous grants at the federal and state level and nobody from our county has applied for them, private or public. Nobody has done that. So we're missing money. We're missing opportunities to bridge the digital divide and get people better internet.
And our survey has helped with getting us at least starting to get us data on that house by house level. So we've been pushing with that and trying to get that out there. And even if I would love to see you guys on the committee to have the Mchenry Township be, but even if you don't, please at least consider sharing our survey so that, you know, when you guys send out a letter, that we can get more responses from the township citizens.
And this is something we've offered to the Village of Bull Valley because they're seriously considering solving their issue. And they actually convened last month to do that, and they actually did share our survey. And we offered that we would share any data that's within the geographic area, within the limits of Bull Valley, the data with them, so they can actually be informed about what the actual need is and what the quality of the connection is, what the cost of connection is, and all that. So, you know, a lot at once.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of that survey you can give us?
Yes, I can do it.
Yeah, it's online, entirely online.
Yeah, you can visit yourself, but we can also print a
Did you send me a link with the packet you sent previously?
Sure, I can.
Okay. No, I still have the email.
Okay. You still have the email? Okay. So
You have your own folder.
Awesome. So I'll reply to that email. I'll give you guys the link as well to that survey.
Okay, if there's no more discussion, I guess thank you very much for being here.
Thanks,
we appreciate your efforts.
Thanks for hearing us out.
Yeah. Keep up the effort, definitely. I just need to get and study it some more to figure out what's okay, on to F. Commonwealth Edison easement. This is for discussion and possible action. May I have a motion?
To discuss. Okay, I'll make a motion to discuss it.
Second.
All those in favor of discussing the Commonwealth easement?
Aye.
I'm sure the attorney is going to chime in here in a second.
Yeah, I was just going to let all you kind of vote on that, but in your packet is the Commonwealth Edison grant of easement request to the township. I've sent off to the ComEd some changes that we had. Even in the latest edition, I was looking at the legal description. There is some words that are not correct, so I'm making sure that the legal description is correct. So I've sent that back. I've also had some changes in the language of the grant of easement itself. So that's out at this point. So I would ask the board to table this issue until next month so that I can get back a semi-agreed upon easement agreement so that I can present to the board. Terms, as far as items that are outstanding, we put some information in there regarding actual feet for the overhang area that's being used. There was also some language in there regarding requesting permission from them, that being the township having to go back to ComEd for different permissions. Some of that language I just completely removed. And again, we're talking about the language on the legal description itself. I thought that was incorrect based on some other deeds that I had looked at regarding the legal description. So again, I just asked the board to table this till next month until I can get a better.
How much more is it going to cost us?
It's with them right now. I don't have.
No, you charge us $1,350.
It should be anything more than.
That's why I'm asking the question. How much more is it going to cost us?
It should be anything more than.
Could I ask a question? Is this for ComEd to get an easement on some portion of the township property? I just am not at all familiar with what it's about.
So it's coming down 31.
Coming down 31.
Correct. And so there's the right-of-way area, and then the legal description within the easement is the property of the township itself.
Right.
And so there's a certain portion there's an overhang, but we want to make sure that we're not giving the whole township property away as an overhang. So we're trying to limit, so I'm suggesting that we limit that overhang to 5 feet.
So 5 feet from the right-of-way?
Yeah, so I'm 100% with you. It's very unclear as to looking at the map that was provided, I'm not sure where that came
Well,
from.
I don't disagree.
That if they could, comment could take another whack at it, make it a little bit clearer as to exactly what they want from us, from a map standpoint, and dimensions. Yeah, we need dimensions of the area that they're gonna, I saw that note in the sidelines. I would agree with whoever wrote that note, that we need to understand the dimensions of what they're asking for. And then I would ask for the road commissioner's feedback on any of this, being as though it'll be in his right of way.
It's not our right of way.
Not yours.
It's actually,
It's IDOT.
the reason why you're involved in it is because the township legal description that they told me the legal description was recorded to the center line of the road. Because I said, why aren't you going to IDOT? What do you need us for? They said, because it's recorded as you own to the center line of the road or to whatever, and not the right of way, as if it was never dedicated. Well, it's IDOT. So I wasn't going to argue with them. I sure didn't just agree with their legal description. It made no sense to me what they were trying to do. And the overhang, I don't know why we can't put a limit on the overhang of that right-of-way, of whether it be 15 feet and that's it, because they may need to come up and down the property, but pretty soon, if you give them, they don't tell you what the overhang is, which means they're putting a new line in and they're parking all their equipment and tearing up our property 50 feet in. I can guarantee you if we were asking for something from them, they would want the things that Jim was going to ask. They would be, when I sent an email to them questioning some of this, well, this is just the way we do it. It's just normal common easement. Yeah. Wish I could say that to you when I ask for an easement.
Yeah, it just didn't smell right. So, okay, so.
I have one more comment, if you don't mind. And I know it's going to sound off the wall. Can we ask them to reimburse us for the money we're spending in you?
Yes, you can ask them whether they pay it.
Correct.
Yes.
Have you canceled a garbage contract lately? You don't get your money back.
I don't know if you've ever tried to recoup costs from damage.
It's not going to happen. It's just a point.
I don't, you know what? It never hurts to ask.
Right. That's what I'm
So I would definitely, might as well pencil that in too.
Done.
Yes, that'd be great. So we'll move on from, I guess there is.
Well, I guess we need a motion to table this to the next
A
meeting.
motion to table.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I need it first.
That would be Mr. McCredo. And the second would be Mr. Shepler or Mr. Yeager.
Mark, yep, second.
All those in favor of tabling the Commonwealth Edison easement discussion?
Yes.
Aye, yes.
And I'm an aye also. Motion carries to table. Okay. Item G.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you guys table us as well? The
Yes.
Fiber Coalition?
Actually, we need to go back and do a formal motion to table it.
Yeah, you're right.
So I would take, thank you, appreciate that. I'll take a motion to table the McHenry County Fiber Coalition discussion.
I'll second that.
I need first.
All right,
Okay. Second. Okay, we have a first from, okay. All those in favor of tabling the discussion regarding the McHenry County Fiber Coalition?
Aye.
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 Okay. Motion carries, so that's tabled. That becomes old business. So moving on to item G. Discuss Indian Ridge Improvement Association request to administer their low-income assistance program. Discussion and possible action.
I'll make a motion to discuss.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Okay. We have a first and second. All those in favor of discussing the Indian Ridge Improvement Association?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. All ayes. Let's discuss, I guess.
When I read that, the previous board denied the request. Did we ever give them any help? I mean, that was my question.
I've never seen anything like this in my previous life for the 17 months that I was on, or a request of this nature. There's a cost to this.
Correct. Yeah,
And that's where But I think the guidelines for what they're asking us to do the work, those are public. They can get those guidelines and they can do their own sorting through it. I don't think that this is something that we should really take on at the township. It's one of those things that I think if you do it here, everybody else will ask us to administer their things. And at this point in time where we are, I don't believe it would be in the best interest of the constituents of the township to do this. I hate to turn them away. I understand what they're trying to do. But yet, at this point in time, we can help guide them from the standpoint of giving them the guidelines in which they make the qualifications and they can make the judgments.
I totally agree.
So, I guess any further discussion?
I would agree, we're not in a position to be piling work on the board.
I agree.
Okay. Not in a position. So, I guess what I would need is a motion to respectfully.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything, or if you want to take you don't have to do anything, but if you want to take action to send them back a rejection, you can certainly take action to reject it. But you wouldn't have to take action to do it.
I would personally, or I would like the township to respond to their letter. And so I would need a motion for a response to the letter that.
Well, it depends on what it's going to cost them. I don't even think we have to respond. If they come to the board meeting, they're more welcome to ask us.
There you go.
I've had conversations with them, and they sent the letter at my request to bring to the board this information. So if you just wanted to send a letter back stating that the board has decided not to go forward.
Correct.
Or I can do it by telephone.
That sounds great, then.
That would, what I'm recommending. I don't think it has to go through the attorney.
No, it's not an attorney issue at all. No.
Correct.
No.
That's what I would like, is a letter to them from the
Just
township.
stating that the
Just
board
stating
is.
that, correct.
I can do an email even if that's what you want.
I make a motion and Deb writes a letter.
All those in favor of writing them a letter?
Aye.
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 Hey, Deb, they didn't say it had to be in the letter, so you can accept it. Pardon me? They didn't say it had to be in the letter, so you can write them back and say, we'll do it. Yeah. Don't learn my secrets.
Okay.
Sorry.
There we go. Okay, let's move on to.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized, please?
Yes, sure.
I just want to take a minute to let everyone know Debbie Mccabe has done the yeoman's job at keeping things running here in the township. And she always does a great job, but this last 6 weeks, you've been amazing. And you are probably not paid enough, but you are appreciated, and I think that publicly this board should thank you for all that you have done. And I know I appreciate it, and just can't thank you enough, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Speech.
Let's move on to old business. The discussion regarding the Mchenry Township nonpartisan. So I need a motion to open that discussion.
I'll make the motion to open the discussion.
Okay. Second. Okay. So all those in favor of having that discussion?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Aye. Motion carries. I'll start off with, I mean, I don't know if the attorney has anything else to report back since the last time we discussed it.
I don't.
Okay. So I guess what I would do is entertain a motion at this point in time to remove it from old business, being as though there's a considerable expense associated with that. We're not going to take that on. We will leave the township as a partisan township for now.
I think we should try to see if the public itself would like to form some sort of group to research that and get back to us.
When you say not taking on the financial burden, does that mean because we don't know? Is there
Attorney fees.
research involved?
Attorney fees.
Oh.
And you have to, if I remember correctly in the discussion, it's changing state law.
Yes.
So you have to have,
Petition.
you have to have the law changed downstate, and what's involved with that.
May I?
Sure.
This is done in most of Lake County.
Correct.
So why would we have to change law if it's a practice that's already followed?
I would defer to the attorney on that.
I believe that the last time I talked about that, there was some exceptions there regarding that particular item, and my comment was, I believe they probably fell within those exceptions, which we didn't, and I haven't looked at it. What I was asking was, is if we knew specifically what those were within the Lake County, that we could verify in fact they fell within the exception or not. So if you have that, whether it's myself or somebody else wanted to look at that, find out whether they did fall within the exceptions, then I'd be more than happy to do it, or have them do that, whatever the board would like.
That's why I suggested the public wanted to form a group to look into it and report back to us. We'd be more happy to look at it.
I'm willing to participate in that.
Okay. I guess what I will do is discuss it internally, I guess, from the standpoint of forming a committee of some sort, I guess. Formalizing a committee that would look into this is what I'm trying to do.
Well, do we have to? I mean, we know that you guys back it. We could always, come back to our own little community.
That's fine.
If you and then come back and present it to the board.
If you want to do that, that's fine.
I think the
or
more
if you
that
want
we're
to
not
formalize it
entangled
from
with you guys,
the community.
better. Yeah.
It should come from the community.
What's that?
It should come from the community.
Right, yeah, that's what I mean. So as long as I don't want a formal committee set by the township, I think it's better if we just kind of sneak off into the back and figure it out. Come on, Mark, sneak back and figure it out.
Okay, so that returns it back to,
You're not taking no action, so it's done.
yeah, so it's, no action. Item B is review all rental agreements and rates for the facilities, shelters, community center, recreation center, and food pantry. Discussion and possible action. A motion to have a discussion.
I'll make a motion to have a discussion.
Okay. Second. All those in favor of having the discussion? Aye. Any nays? Okay. Discussion on the fees?
Let's start with the senior center.
Okay.
I think that's going to be the hardest one. The rent is presently $9,000 a year, or $750 a month.
Correct.
To the budget, the electric bills are being $900 plus, garbage is $400 plus. And of course,
What?
Senior center, we're going through senior center.
Yeah,
first.
$4.
How much is
400. I'm sorry.
Nuts.
The electric bill is $900 plus, garbage is $400 plus, then you have the NICOR bill as well, which goes up and down depending on the season, of course. We've budgeted $11,000 in cost for the utilities. We already spent $3,800 of that. If you do the math, we're not quite covering the rent. The rent is not covering what we're, and again, it's not just my decision as far as we raise rent or not. I'm just here to give you what the costs are and what we're spending on the building. The cost, if you do it right, we're going to spend $12,000 a year. So I think we should at least make it a break even, unless we decide we're at a loss. It's not just my decision, I'm just having a discussion.
Okay, any other discussion? Any other feelings on that this evening? Personally, I need to dig into it a little bit more, so I'd like to table the discussion for next meeting. If somebody would give me a motion from that standpoint, I'd like to dig into it a little more.
In the discussion, I know Greg did talk to them, and they were only taking a $200 increase. What Greg talked.
Correct. I hear what you're saying, John. Would give me a little breathing room to get my feet under me.
You got it all.
Okay. I want to make sure, I understand what's going on, and I definitely, it's quite the quandary because you're faced with things that matter. First of all, it's the taxpayer paid for. So now you're asking them to pay more money, and they're not going to be able to give quote, $200 a month worth of services back to constituents here in the township. So, but at the same time, the building doesn't exist. So if we don't pay for it. So what I'm I'm wrestling with is the $200 a month.
But the costs I'm referring to are really for a third of the building.
Correct.
It's not for,
And that's part of the discussion we need to do is figure out how to fill up the other 2/3.
well, yeah, for sure.
So, and I understand that. And there's some, there's an idea that happened a long time ago that probably needs to be brought back. It's a summer program for the
kids,
youth.
no doubt about
For the kids, so how do
Mchenry
we do
Youth-
that?
The Mchenry Youth Commission.
You got it. So if we can get I would entertain a motion to table this so we can have further discussion on it.
I'll make a motion to table it, Gary.
No, wait.
Second.
Okay. Gary made the motion to table it. All I need is a second.
Okay. Gary seconded it. Mark, it doesn't
No,
help.
Gary.
Gary didn't make
Okay,
the
Mark.
motion. He asked for a motion.
Yeah, Gary asked for a motion.
I asked for a motion.
Gary asked for a motion.
John made the motion.
Yeah, I made the
John made
motion,
the
Gary asked for it.
All those in favor of tabling the discussion on the senior center rent?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay. Trudging through this. I appreciate everybody's patience in working with me this evening.
You're doing a great job.
Okay, we've handled item C already.
No, we're not done with the food pantry.
Oh, yes, food pantry, there it is.
Again, the food pantry, they're paying $500 a month. When Greg talked to them, they're more than willing to give us $1,000 a month. When Greg talked to them. Same scene, the budget's $13,000 or $1,083 a month. We're only collecting $500. Another part of that is, as far as facility building maintenance, township's budgeted $20,000. That is for both buildings, it does not include this building. So I don't know how much maintenance we're planning for that building. Even though I believe they built the building. The only thing I just need to keep in mind is that I believe the food pantry is run strictly by donations, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Craig talked to them, they didn't have a problem with $1,000. So again, if you want to table it, so you can talk to them, your call.
I would appreciate a little bit of time to get my legs under me again. So I would entertain a motion to have a discussion regarding the fish pantry rental agreement.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All those in favor of tabling discussion until next meeting?
Aye.
And possible action? Aye. Neil? Aye. John?
Aye, sorry.
Okay, let's move on. Proposed agenda items for the next monthly board meeting. Anybody have any right at the moment?
I do, I think we need to discuss whether we need a attorney every meeting or not. I don't take it personal, Jim.
Oh, great, you want your Thursday nights back, huh?
Second Thursday, yeah. Okay, anybody else have anything? I don't have anything new.
Yeah, there is one right, sorry.
Yeah, you have a trustee opening now to discuss.
Correct.
We're going to take our 60 days to do that, right? 60 days?
So I don't know where the appropriate time is to talk about that, but if, I'm sure our attorney knows more about the legality of replacing that, but yes, from what I understand is, I guess I officially resigned when I took the supervisor's position as a trustee, so that starts the clock on 60 days?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Can I get us to a point, we should decide how we want to do it.
Correct. That's what we need to talk about.
Correct.
Correct.
And you do realize that that has to be done like in a meeting, right? Either executive session or in front of us.
Correct.
We're going to discuss
Correct.
how
We don't
it
have a problem with that,
yeah.
You know, as opposed to, deciding that Gary should be
We
the
got nothing
supervisor in 13 minutes.
I thought it was in today's meeting, I thought the park attorney was going to be here for this meeting.
He was told he didn't need to be here.
Well, I'd like to have Terry here at the next meeting.
Okay. So we'll put Terry back on the parks.
Okay, so he knows that you guys are gonna be talking, so here's he had mentioned he had these for you guys. So if you want to, since you tabled everything for the next meeting, that's the packet he put together. And then, hold on.
Yeah, when you go through the packet of information, I ended up doing a comparison from 2019 to 2021, and then looking at all of the surrounding properties. Correct.
Gary, if I may intervene before for a second?
Sure.
I thoroughly read the annual financial report that was performed by an outside agency. And again, just like Mary did earlier, I'd like to say that the township did a great job at reporting everything to the people that did the audit, and they came out shining. Thanks again, Deb and crew.
So we're going to, as part of, I guess, going back to reviewing all the rental agreements, and that includes the shelters community. That's where Terry needs to come back next meeting and give us a presentation. I apologize for that. I had an opportunity to take a ride to all the parks that we have, and I must have been the one that gave him the impression that we were done with the ride. I thought I communicated that, but I have to be clear next time that he still needs to come to the meeting. So we'll do that.
I did ask him how he got out of that.
I will clean up my communication. So really, essentially, item B from old business, all of those need to come back to the next meeting. Correct?
Correct. Well, not A.
No, item B.
Just B.
Item B.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, just B, actually.
All of the things under B.
Under B.
Under B. So may I get a motion to table that discussion till the next meeting? And possible action till the next meeting?
I'll make a motion to table it to the next meeting.
A second.
All those in favor of tabling it till the next meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Okay, second
Motion
report.
carries. Supervisor's report.
I'm gonna.
No, that was easy. That was on Craig. But the packets are all in there. You see the information from the parks. You know, I'm not going. They're available if you want to see that. I'll point that out. I'll be more prepared next time to discuss those as we move forward. And then, so we'll move to L, Assessor's report.
I get to stand up. Okay, and I apologize for this being late, not in your packet. It just was kind of a busy week, but I did give all of you a copy of the report.
Yep.
So just so everyone knows, I did get the assessments for 2021 have been turned in. They're in the hands of the county now, so it probably will be sometime mid to late September when the assessment notices come out. And I know you're all waiting for that. But I would just like to say, in kind of preparation of when you are going to get your assessment notice, this is a good time right now to try to determine what the value of your property is, and information is out there already to tell you that. You can talk to a local realtor, you can contact my office for sales. We are going to have those sales on the website within the next couple of weeks. That will help you do that. But if you have an idea of what the value of your property is when you get your notice, then you can at least know if you're in the ballpark or if you need to file an appeal because you don't agree. But do the work now, because you only have 30 days to file an appeal if you choose to do so. I can tell you that our newest senior housing facility, the Berkshire Johnsburg Senior Apartments, is well underway. They're close to opening. Their goal is to have their construction, in case you don't know, that's up in Johnsburg. It used to be the Bush Elementary School, and they kept part of the building and then they added another building, and total will be, I think it's 68 total units. They plan to have all the construction done by the middle September or so, and they already have about 40% of the units rented or agreed to. So that will be moving along, and they're looking at October as their occupancy. So that's kind of exciting. And that's senior income, it's senior housing based on income. They're 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. So if you have any other questions on that, let me know.
Can I ask, is that owned by a non-profit organization though, so they don't pay taxes?
No, they'll pay taxes, but as far as I know at this point, that they would, when you have a low income housing like that, your value is based on the income, and that can vary based on the tenant's income. So there's a whole bunch of different statutes for that. So, but I'm not aware that they wouldn't be paying any taxes. They just may not be paying what it would be if you owned the building and were renting it out. So, which would be much more. Okay, so our next update is on the Stormwater Subdivision, which is, well, if anybody drives down 120 there, you can see that they already have several buildings up. They're not complete yet, but they have basically 12 that they're working on right now. So their first phase is 202 units, and that will be a mix of, as I call them, active adult quad level units, attached units, and active adult detached units, but the majority will be single family detached and some attached, like condos, townhomes. Their grand opening is scheduled for September 3rd, so they're moving along pretty quickly. My staff and I are going to have a tour where I asked to be taken out there to the property to see what's going on I think it's the 26th of this month. But it's been difficult. We can't really get in there now, so we are getting a tour and see the lay of the land and find out what's going on. And they're going to be open, like I said, grand opening is planned for September 3rd. I don't know what kind of price points they'll have, so kind of interesting to see that. Bob?
Mary, where is that on 120?
I'm sorry?
Where is it on 120?
Right across from Valley View, basically. We're more than 120, not right at the corner, because I believe there's going to be a gas station there. Backs up to Martin Woods, part of it. It's a huge development. Eventually will be 3,700 units over 10 to 20 years.
Is that within the Village of Wonder Lake, right?
It's in Village of Wonder Lake. Kids will go to Harrison Elementary School and then go to Mchenry High School.
There's 200 acres in the corner that would go to Johnsburg schools.
I don't know that there's any housing areas that will be, any lots that are going to have houses on in Johnsburg, but they might.
Well, it was, I guess in a previous life there was that 200 acres there that was actually zoned as high density. So whether they choose to build there is probably not a current plan. This goes back to, what was it, Thatcher Woods as it was originally platted, if that name rings a bell. That's all I know.
Yeah, wherever they're, their Village of Wonder Lake and part of Wonder Lake does go to Johnsburg schools. So thank goodness that's not something I have to worry about. The school districts take care of that. But they all are going to be, we've actually gotten the plats and the PIN numbers and everything for that. They're all 60097 zip codes. So they do have a really cool website if you're interested. Stormwater, they have a lot of information on that. So if you are interested, you could go there. But that's going to take up some of our time in the next 10, 15 years of collecting that information out there. So, just want to remind everyone, we are still doing our Facebook Live segments on the second Wednesday of the month. We didn't do it this week because of internet issues. So, it was supposed to be yesterday. We are still doing that. It's information mostly that we used to put in the newsletter, things that we think will be helpful. And they are taped, so they are available on the Township Facebook page for future viewing. Let's see. We're not having people come back into the office at this point. Don't know when that's going to open up, but we are still here to help and answer questions, and if we can't answer your questions over the phone, we will make an appointment, so please don't hesitate to reach out for that. And other than that, also the board members, any of you who have any questions or want to set up a time to talk about what we do in the assessment office, happy to do that. And to give you a tour of it and see all the fun we have back there. So,
Well, I'll be on your list.
Okay. Well, and I look forward to working with you.
I do too. I mean, it's a new adventure, so I'm looking forward to it, and definitely I'll come in and have a conversation. More so working together and make sure that the people are served in the community, however you want to put that.
Yeah, and that's great, to understanding what we do and how we do it and what we need to do to make sure we have the right assessments, which totally affects our tax base.
Correct.
So, collaborating with the supervisor is important, and with the board, so that we can do that and make sure we are serving.
As I've had the opportunity, your webcast, or the Facebook Live pages, excuse me, I think that's a great service. We're all challenged with educating everybody as to what's going on. I haven't undertaken it, but there's a lot of differences in the way that you value your home. The homes are valued, so when you go out and value your home, you need to make sure that you're looking at it apples to apples and not apples to oranges, because that can't happen. And what I'm referring to is, I guess, refinancing your house is completely different in the value you get there versus what the tax assessor looks at. So,
It shouldn't be, but it's a financial decision on the bank's end.
Correct. I'm not talking, it's the bank is what I'm referring to. So I'll leave it at that, but thank you for what you do and look forward to working with you.
May I ask?
If anyone has any questions or anything?
I do. That's one thing that just totally confuses me, because they're saying when you refinance your house, they appraise it for such amount, and that's different than what you're taxed on, that appraisal. However, if you go to sell that house, they're going to appraise the house, and that same appraisal that you had in refinancing is what they're going to go by. They are not going to give you a loan for $300,000 on a $200,000 appraisal. So I just don't understand how. I know it's not you, it's the system, but it's flawed.
That's a long conversation. I'm happy to have that with you.
But you have.
Well, but apparently you didn't understand it, so we might need to do it again. But I'm happy to do that. So it's the bottom line is we put a value on your property that should be market value, and remember it's always of January 1 of the tax year, and it's not a perfect system. And if you disagree with that value, there is an opportunity to appeal it. The goal is to get them right. As I said, it's not a perfect system. You can have many different opinions of value, but at the end of the day, we have a lot of properties to do that with. And right now, we have market that's out of control. It's been out of control for over a year. So, and some of that affects the value and what we get as far as a township factor, which kicks up everyone's value. Again, another long discussion. I'll throw this out here. We are planning on doing a forum, an assessor forum in September, probably right around the time the notices go out. It's a better forum to answer these questions and explain things, and so just look for that. I'll let you know when we can set that up. But there are a lot of questions, and we try to answer them. And we've been a little hindered with COVID, but we're going to try to do it again this year. We didn't do any last year. Okay.
Hey, Mary, your appraisals are based on 5 years of sales, right?
No.
How does that work?
Or
a couple of years?
When we revalue, like if we went into a subdivision, Martinwoods, and said we're going to revalue all these, we have to look at the 3 previous years. So right now for 2021, we would look at 18, 19, and 20 sales. And we basically throw them all in a pot, same, all the ranches, all the 2 stories, all the split levels, and figure out what the average home is, start everybody at that average, add for things that are better, take off for things that are less. It's mass appraisal. I'm not an appraiser, so mass appraisal means everything that's kind of averaged out. And again, that's why it's not a perfect system. We don't go into the properties, and that's why it's really important for people to pay attention to what their assessment is, because you know your home, what's inside. If there's condition issues or something that we're not aware of, those can be addressed. But it's when you have 25,000 properties and soon to have 3,700 more, it's mass appraisal. So it's averaging things out, and but when you appeal and you go in 2021 and say I don't like my value for 2021, they're looking at June of 2020 to June of 2021, so it's a much more limited window when you appeal. Typically, as values are going up, when we use those 3 years as an average, it's going to be lower than where we are. And certainly now, we're certainly significantly lower now in most assessments than what the values are right now, which will be an interesting appeal time.
I'm not looking forward to it. You know what my house says on Zillow right now?
Well,
I can't afford my house.
We don't follow Zillow, and then we don't go by that, and we can't, again, the system is set up to be not a moment in time. It's because it's a rolling average where values are supposed to go up. We don't necessarily have to have you right at your exact value, and most people like to be under that. So we hear from people when they're older. That's how it's supposed to work. But again, the values currently, I can tell you most of our assessments are anywhere from 30,000 to 100,000 under what the homes are selling for. 100,000. So, sell them all.
But don't be,
it's a seller's market.
But you can't buy.
Right. Well, you can. Rates are low, and that's why people are buying, because rates are low. But anyway, we can talk about that another time. Did I answer your question?
You did.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll move on to item M, Highway Commissioner report.
You have my written reports. I'm going to be very brief, trust me. Striping, a couple updates. Striping, we were supposed to get the paint today, but it did not arrive, so we hope to get that. Under the CDBG grant, the $50,000 grant that we were supposed to receive, that we have received, we actually did get the executed, finalized agreement with the county, so I am proceeding with finalizing the plans for that. And the only thing we're waiting on now to start construction is the environmental review by the county, which should be pretty quick. Let me see, other things that are on there. we are having a brush tree pickup next week after our nice storm that we had the other day. We saw a lot of trees done. I think we had a total of 13 or 14 trees over roads. And we got all of them cleared out before midnight that night, with the exception of the ones that involved wires and ComEd. So we obviously, until they take care of that, we can't really jump in and do much, but we were out there. Painting, again, should be, hopefully the paint will come pretty soon here. We did something interesting. We hosted the FREP meeting. FREP is the Fox River Ecological Partnership. And the reason why we did that, if you recall, a couple years ago, we started a program revegetating the backsides of our right-of-ways to natural vegetation. And so this was our second year that we held the meeting here to show the progress that we've made. Two things. One, I would point out, if we were in a class, we would have gotten an F, because we're not having much success there. But the beauty of it was the people that were there have their own, they've done a lot of this, and they pointed out to us a lot of it has to do with the dry summer that we had up until this point. And then they gave us some tips on how to resolve some of the issues that we're having. So it was kind of neat. It was a good exchange of information. So you'll see us adding more seeds of flowering plants, the eye poppers that people see. Right now, I think if you look at our back slopes, mostly you see the black-eyed Susans. The great plants take 3 or 4 years or 5 years, we're told, to get up to get out and see. And there's some that we didn't put seeding in, so we'll add that over the next year. And that's about it. So,
thank you very much. I appreciate the report. Any questions for?
How big is sticklers are you guys going to be on the brush pickup thing? Like, does it have to be things that fell down during the storm, or do you have a collection of stuff from your backyard that you've had for a couple of years?
You should not be doing that. It should be completely restricted to storm damage, vegetation that's fallen from storms.
All right, you can skip my neighborhood completely, right?
Well, in any case, what it should be, and if it's obvious that it wasn't because of last week's storm, they probably will bypass it. So, and then we'll be calling in saying, get it out of the right of way.
Yeah.
So, don't put it out there unless it was part of the storm.
No, they're gonna be watching you now.
It was kind of tongue-in-cheek, just so you know.
Okay. Moving on, item M, executive session, that has been handled. I believe there's nothing else to discuss there. Item O, board member comments. Anybody have anything to say this evening?
Thank you everyone for attending.
Yes, thank you. And item P, adjournment, our favorite.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
We have a first and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, I don't know. Trustee.
You should be able to get a copy as soon as they're signed off. Took that effort to do.
Honestly,
How's it going, troublemaker?
Not this past week. 6 inches of rain.
it'll come around.
Thanks very much. Absolutely. That's one of my things is I would like to see a that's interesting.
Put that on me.
Yep.
That's good. I'm not. Mark will take care of it. Last week I was moving.
Good night. Thanks for being my secretary.
Absolutely.
I'm like, well, I think that was a compliment.